Good evening, everybody. Dan United. Hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe if you're new. But first, as always, happy Sunday, everybody. Happy Sunday. Wasn't going to do a vid tonight. It is Valentine's weekend and Mrs. Robinson obviously takes precedent. But do you know something? I'm bored already. I've seen the news coming out that should we keep Maguire? I've seen certain aggregates say it's ridiculous. We should be rebuilding this club. Blah, 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 blah. If you know who it is, I don't even have to mention his name. He's got 2.4 million followers. So obviously everything he says is absolutely spot on, of course. And it led me to, I did a short before about it. And I was like, I can't really talk about that in great length in 60 seconds. So I thought I'm going to do a vid, and I think it's best that we talk about it. Now, look, first and foremost, we need to discuss the elephant in the room. The elephant in the room is Mr. Harry Maguire, okay? Some love him, some hate him. It's down the middle, isn't it? It's down the middle. I feel like Manchester United don't even need to be having this conversation. I feel like Manchester United should just get this done now. Like, this should be done now. I think Harry Maguire, and we'll go into it in great detail. We've got stats, we've got information, we've got his history at the club. I think Manchester United would be missing the biggest trick if they didn't re-sign this guy up. Now, Kev and I have spoke about this several times in the sense of that Manchester United at the moment currently have five centre-backs. We've got Lisandro Martinez. We've got Harry Maguire. We've got De Ligt. We've got Heaven. And we've got Yoro. That is plenty of centre-backs. Manchester United, and I'll put this to you as well as fans, you have to ask yourselves, are Manchester United going to be winning the league in the next 12 months? No, they are not. No, they are not. Manchester United are well ahead of where anybody actually put them at in terms of challenging for Champions League, in terms of challenging to get into Europe. We were not expecting this season to go the way it did. We just weren't. We identified after September, when that window shut and the spending was no more, we identified straight away that the major shape-ups in this team were in the midfield situation, okay? Yes, we'll move on to, of course, we need the fullbacks, but the midfield were the biggest problem for Manchester United. And they were the biggest problem for a couple of reasons. Casemiro going on a free, Ugarte stinking up the place. That leaves us with one, just the one. And that is Kobe Mainoo. Yes, of course, we've got Collier out on loan. Fantastic. Brilliant. Injured again for 3 months. But we knew going into this what this was. We knew that it was going to be midfield. And we've been linked with Anderson. We've been linked with Baleba. We've been linked with Stiller. We've been linked with Wharton. We have been linked midfield heavily. But then in the last 24 hours, Manchester United are getting linked with centre-back after centre-back after centre-back. One that we'll go through in a minute. The Slotterbeck one, that ain't happening. There's no way that happens. But it all goes back. It all goes back to Harry Maguire. And he is pivotal at the moment because we are looking at a guy who is pushing on. He's in his 30s, early 30s. The guy's contract runs out at the end of the season. Now, with us playing European football, which, okay, worst case scenario, we don't. But the way it's going at the moment, with one game a week, you would like to think Manchester United will have enough about them to get over that line and get to the Champions League. With that in mind, Manchester United need the depth in defenders. And what they don't need at the moment is to go and drop another 30, 40, maybe 50 million on another centre-back, which, by the way, I think would be the biggest waste of money. In an ideal world, we would have a blank check, people. We would have a blank check. We would go out there and say, do you know what? We're going to go and sign. We're going to sign 2 centre-backs. We're going to sign a left-back, a right-back, 2 or 3 midfielders, and maybe a striker. Yeah? In an ideal world, that happens. But unfortunately, people, we don't live in an ideal world. We don't live in a world where we can go, bang, let's go and get it. We don't live in the world that Man City can go out and drop the money they do. We don't live in a world that Liverpool can have a summer like they did. It just doesn't work like that. United are so financially ruined at the moment that it makes no sense for us to even look at going out and getting a centre-back. Heaven and Yoro are the future of Manchester United. It is as simple as that. That is black and white. They are the future. if you're looking at signing a Slotterbeck, you're going to be dropping at least 40 million, maybe 50 million, maybe 60 million. Let's be honest, with Borussia Dortmund's history with Manchester United, they have been very, very good at being that angry parent who pulls our pants down and slaps our fucking asses. That's what they've been able to do. How they got the money they did for Sancho, I will never know. But when I look at the fact that you have a character in Maguire, right, a character who has gone through the mill. Yes, we know that. He's gone through the dark days. He's been mocked everywhere he goes. Yes, we know that. But ultimately, the guy has actually held himself with class, has put in some decent performances over the last few months, and I think is deserving, very deserving of that new contract. I'll go through the comments in a minute. Don't worry, I'm not going to forget you. But what I will say as well is the reports coming out, and this is massive, by the way. The reports coming out, he will take a pay cut to stay at Manchester United. Now, look, there are other people, very, very big channels in this YouTube game that are there saying, no, get rid of him. Let's bring someone in. These are the same people who are telling us that we need at least a minimum two world-class midfielders. Yeah. Well, where the fuck's the money coming from with that? Yeah. Where's the money coming from with that? It doesn't work like that. Manchester United have to make sure in the summer, if they are going to go big for these midfielders, that they tie up any loose ends in and around the pitch. And Harry Maguire is a 6'3" loose end. Wants a pay cut. Give him the money he wants. He's happy to. He's on 190 at the moment. If that guy's willing to take a pay cut, that will put him down to maybe 150. Well, Ahmad's on 100k a week. The guy is important for what we do. He is. I've heard comments saying, oh, it's ridiculous because the players are coming out and they're stunned that he hasn't got a new contract. I couldn't give a crap about what the players are saying. I really couldn't. This has to be a financial decision. And you know something? The way Ineos are, you'd have to say that this is the easiest financial decision that they will make. Get the guy on a 2-year contract. Simple. Get him to take that 2-year contract. He will know as an experienced head that his minutes are going to drop. He's going to know that. With the players getting more and more mature around him, i.e. Yoro and of course Heaven, we all know that his minutes are going to drop. But this is where you utilise Harry Maguire. He has the experience. It's simple. It's the most easiest decision. And I don't understand why some people are losing their minds over it. I've been there. I've been on these shows where people have moaned, oh, they don't want to play for the club. They've given up. They've dropped trowel. They've done. No, Maguire has never done that. He is a divisive figure. There is problems with his pace. But at the moment, when we talk about centre-backs, experienced centre-backs, we have a centre-back in De Ligt that's been missing since before Christmas. We have a centre-back who, great form this season. Honestly, De Ligt, I thought he was one of the best centre-backs in the league this season, up until he got injured. So it's a frustrating one. For me, I think it's the easiest decision. Get the guy on a contract. Let's go through some of these comments. Good evening, Chappie. Good to see you, my man. Mustafa, good to see you. Says, I keep him 2 years max to blend in You're in Heaven. Absolutely spot on. Evening, Jamie. All good, mate. Yeah, I've seen the slot. I just think that's paper talk. I know it's Build that have said it, but I just think it's paper talk. It makes no sense. He's a left-sided centre-back as well. So Slotterbeck is a left-footed centre-back. You're telling me that they're dropping Martinez out of the three of them, out of Harry Maguire, De Ligt, and Martinez, they're going to drop Martinez when the injury problems are probably, you'd have to say, with De Ligt and partly Maguire. So it just, at the moment, and look, I know Martinez has been injured, but at the moment, touch wood, we've seen him on a bit of a run. Without the armband, he's put his head down and been crucial for us. Hopefully he gets to the final push to top 4. He deserves to play Champions League for Manchester United. He absolutely does. Shaw can fill in at left centre-back as well. We've got depth, agree. I'd rather get a fullback and replace Dallo Shaw, who's been here longer, who can be an upgrade. This is where I sit on it. We absolutely need to go out there and just be smart here and say, do you know what? Centre-back isn't what we need. In the summer, and we'll go through this. I'm going to do a video tomorrow about who I'd keep, who I'd sell, blah, 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 blah. But just to round it at the moment, I think fullbacks and central midfield is where Manchester United need to be making sure that they absolutely prioritise in the summer. Chappie says when Slabby was captain, he had a lot of abuse from certain so-called fan channels, and it was disrespectful. It was disrespectful. I'd keep him for another year. I would do the same. Fredrickson needs a loan, and next season promote another. Yeah. Fredrickson absolutely needs to go out on loan next season. Absolutely does. Moxie says, good evening, Dan. If Harry takes a pay cut, I can see it happening. A good lad to keep around the squad too. Still playing well enough that Tuchel is watching him again for World Cup consideration. Good comment, that. I saw the interview with Tuchel where he said, what was it he said? Maguire, Shaw and Mainu, all in his consideration for the March internationals, now that they are playing a style that fits England. And I could understand why he wasn't touching them with a barge pole when Scammering was in. But this is another thing. Harry Maguire could still go to the World Cup. Harry Maguire could still go to the World Cup along with Luke Shaw, along with Mainu. United haven't had a player in the squad for the last few times. You could say Rashford, but he's out on loan. He's not a United player. So I saw that as well. We're already losing a leader in the dressing room of Casemiro, so losing Maguire wouldn't be right. Mainu needs, yeah, absolutely. I think a lot's going to depend on who comes in and what formation they want to play. And Martinez will move to defensive midfield, says Carl. And good evening. Hope everyone's well. Look, I think we all know who the manager is going to be next season. Bar an absolute catastrophe, I think it's like we said in the video on Friday. It's Carrick's to lose. It's Carrick's to lose. It absolutely is Carrick's to lose. I don't think we should definitely going in. Sorry, I do think we should definitely be going in for Senesi from Bournemouth on a free transfer. Yeah, but then again, I mean, what are we have to be careful with this, so don't we, Moxie? Because the last thing we want is to get to the summer and say, hang on, Harry, let's just hang fire because we might have another lad come in. Senesi to go elsewhere and Maguire to go, I'm off to Everton or I'm off to West Ham or, whatever. Just tie him down now. Now, look, I wanted to bring this into the situation. This is Harry Maguire. Let me just get rid of Moxie's comment a second. This is Harry Maguire's game time at Manchester United. His first season, 38 games, then 34, 30. Had those injuries in his fourth season, dropped down to 16. Then it's been sort of 22, 27. He's had 13 this season. Look, you can look at that on a multitude of ways. I know that he fell out of favour a couple of times during his time at Manchester United, which is why you see the drop there. Under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, as you can see, he was pretty much a mainstay. He was the captain, for Christ's sake. He's been in and about the squad, I'd say, for the last couple of seasons. But he has played a lot of games for Manchester United. He has. And let's not forget that. He has played a lot of games for this club. I don't think he's let us down. I don't. I think there's been games where he's been poor. And you know something? What player in those periods has really come out with their heads held high? Now, this is another graphic I want to show you. This is Manchester United's win since joining us. Win ratio. So with Maguire, it's 50%. Without, it is 57%. So in this, we have the argument, the other side. You know, I always like to do the argument to and for in these conversations. Is Maguire someone that we could let go? Because the stats don't lie. Do we look a better team without him? Now, it's no mistake here that when if De Ligt becomes fit again, this guy's had such a bad back issue. He's constantly trying to come back. United are terrified of throwing him in and him picking up more injuries, that they're kind of holding back off what they're doing with him at the moment. But for me now, we absolutely need to tie this down, because De Ligt, I've got no problem with saying De Ligt starts over Maguire. I have got no problem at all saying that. I've got no concerns in being the one to admit that to you, chat. I really haven't. At the end of the day, De Ligt, when he is fit, is absolutely brilliant. He's quicker than Maguire. I think he's stronger, and I think he's a bigger attacking threat at the other end. Yes, Maguire's got 1 goal this season, but De Ligt has equally been in and around and been unlucky with chances in the other end of the box. He's younger as well. So it makes all the sense in the world for De Ligt to be the guy that leads the Manchester United backline alongside Martinez. But don't get twisted on the fact that if De Ligt is missing and we go into Europe next season, let's say we get Champions League and we're playing away at the Nou Camp with no De Ligt, are you really feeling comfortable with chucking Heaven and Yoro in there? Are you really feeling comfortable with playing Bayern Munich with them? Now, of course, if Magrani had balls, all that talk. But this is where we need to be thinking logical. Manchester United are not in the situation here where they can go and drop 50 million on a centre-back. I said it before. We're not. There are far bigger positions in this team that need plugging. There just are. With Harry Maguire re-signing, what you have there is a quick fix to enable us to get to another summer and then look at the centre-back option and then look at what we can do, then look at who we can bring in. Coupled with the fact it's World Cup season this season, players' values are going to go through the roof. We are probably already going to have to overpay for a midfielder. We are probably, if we want to bring in a left-back, going to have to overpay to get that left-back in. This is a summer where Manchester United's transfer strategy has already been laid bare to the world. It has. And you can have the best sporting directors in the world at the helm. You really can. At the moment, it's questionable who we have. But you can have the best people in charge. But if the world knows what positions you need to fill, then you better believe, because we're Manchester United, because potentially we're getting into Europe, that the values of these players will be higher. And what Manchester United cannot afford this summer, mark my words, is us to be embroiled in a chase with a central midfielder that means we have to overpay. And yes, I'm talking belabor here. If we get embroiled, imagine we go through the same scenario we had with Brian. Imagine that. Imagine we're getting to the end of July and we still haven't signed a central midfielder. And then we go on to the bloody pre-season tour with Ugarte and Mainu. This isn't the way we should be running the club. There is plenty of opportunity for Manchester United this summer to make a lot of money on some players. It's just the facts. Well, in doing that, let's be strong in what we believe we should be sorting out in this club. Last season, if you're going to believe the whole transfer story, the whole transfer plan that Ineos were going alongside, that we needed to get the front three and the goalkeeper done first, fine, absolutely fine. But this summer, we cannot mix and match. This isn't a fucking pick a mix. We are not going for strawberry laces, then for Coca-Cola bottles. We know what we want. We're walking in that sweet shop and we're saying, I just literally want Tang Fast Sticks. That's all I want. That's what I need to make me better. Let's stop. Let's cut the bullshit right now. And Ineos needs to do the same. Carl says, if he stays, I think he'll have to understand he may not be a regular starter depending on who we sign. I don't know. I mean, he will have to understand that he may not be a regular starter because, as I said, I think De Ligt starts ahead of him anyway. I think De Ligt over Maguire, hands down. I don't think that's a conversation we need to really argue about. But I go back to the fact that we need, if we are gonna have De Ligt injured, if we are looking at De Ligt with his injury problems, then we need someone that is just as capable and carries the same respect, carries the same attack threat, that carries the same attributes in the air. We need that. We just do. There is no version of this where Manchester United let Harry Maguire go and think, do you know what, we'll just try and scam another centre-back in. Even with the wages we will be saving just from Casemiro and Sancho, wages for the players shouldn't be a problem. It's not just them though, is it, Carl? I mean, you think about all of the wages that we're going to be saving on the players we're trying to get rid of. I mean, we forget about fucking Onana. Onana, who, from all intents and purposes, Trabzonspor are begging. The fans are begging to get rid of him because he is a woeful goalkeeper. So there are options for Manchester United if we don't have the funds. If we only have 60 million, 100 million this summer to spend unless we get Champions League, well, you would like to think in player sales we can raise at least another 100 million. At least. With of course, with Højlund doing what he's doing with Napoli, they seem to love him. With Rashford doing what he's doing with Barcelona, there is resale value on some of these players. Ugarte, Turkish clubs are all over him at the moment. They all want him. There is plenty of resale value. It's not the same as last season where we were trying to get rid of a group of players that were a bunch of bellends, to put it mildly. We just can't go and make the same mistake as we usually do. Because if we make the same mistake, then we will get to the end of July, maybe start of August, with a shell of a team. And going into this summer, Manchester United need to sort out where their priorities lie in what they're trying to do. I mean, before the video I do tomorrow, this is where I think United, off the bat, let me get rid of the comments, off the bat next season, that is where United are weakest. That is where Manchester United need to sort out the players that are coming in and out of the squad. And it's not drastic, by the way. It really isn't drastic. Mainu has come in and done fantastic in that midfield. So you need 2 more midfielders to come in and battle for that 6th position. Maybe a young midfielder to go in there with Mainu. And then we need the left back and the right back. Now, okay, if we wanted to really, really scrimp on it, you would say that maybe, just maybe, Luke Shaw, we could get another season out of him if we look after him. But there is going to be a lot more football. I think it will tie a lot on how Diego Leon's progression is going. It's gone very quiet on him at the moment. We all thought he was coming in with this fanfare, that he was going to come and be this young player that was going to completely galvanise the team. And it hasn't worked like that at the moment, because he's come from a league that is not very good. He's come from a league where he was looking like a baller playing against adults. He's made a couple of appearances for us in friendlies, and he looked a bit out of it. So we do have the tools that are being generated in the youth team at the moment. We do. Chida Obi, there was a great piece on him today that apparently Manchester United coaching staff are over the moon with his development. Scored again today. I genuinely think people think that Chida Obi is just a failure. No, United are just doing the right thing with this kid. Next season, that kid will be 18, 19. Leon will be 17, 18, 19. We've got players. We've got Shea Lacey. People forget Shea Lacey. We do have players that when we play more football next season are going to get more opportunities with Manchester United. They just are. But with these players that are going to get more opportunities, let's not forget that we've also still got players here now that want to stay at the club that we can absolutely sort the future for. It is simple. Carl says Rashford, Onana, Højlund be in there, Malacia. I'd also, Mount's another one. Mount is going to divide, because I thought Mount was great to start the season, but at the moment I think the guy's on his way out. 78% of you would keep Harry Maguire as it stands. So there we are, guys. I wanted to come on and just give you a bit of my take on this whole, we've got to get rid of him, we've got to get rid of him. Absolutely not. Don't let these fucking morons who think because they've got these fucking millions of followers think that they speak for you. It's a nonsensical approach from a bunch of nonsensical people at the moment that I think are looking at the summer transfer window, and as much as they slate it, as much as they slate the ownership and say, oh, it's spin, 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 are then expecting the same ownership to go out there, drop all the money on 2 central midfielders, maybe bring in a right midfielder, maybe bring in another striker, and also bring in a centre-back. It ain't going to work like that. Manchester United don't do summers where we go out and sign 7 or 8 players. We don't. There is going to be some shifting about with the players coming up from the youth and getting more experience. I fear that Manchester United will potentially look at getting 2 or 3 solid players in and then trying to just bring in some squad players around it. It's going to be a long summer, folks. Tomorrow I'm going to do a video about who I think we should keep, who I think we should sell, and who I think is potentially on their way out. Make sure you see it. Enjoy your Sunday. I hope you had a great Valentine's Day. I will catch you all on the flip side. Dan United. Ooh.